Hello, crime fighters. I'm Ray the DA, and this is Straight Talk. You know, crimes are classified under different categories. For example, crimes against property. It's a legal phrase to use to describe a crime, the object of which is somebody else's property, as contrasted with crimes against a person. Burglary is called a property crime. It should be a personal crime. A person who enters a dwelling with the intent to commit a theft or any other crime is guilty of burglary, now classified as a property crime. Recent statistics and psychological studies have shown lately that the classification of burglary, at least residential burglary, as a property offense really doesn't reflect the serious nature of the crime. By calling it just a property crime is an injustice to the trauma suffered by the victims of these crimes, as well as the adequacy of the punishment for burglary. According to the United States Department of Justice, household burglary ranks among the more serious felony crimes, not only because it involves an unlawful entry of one's home, but because a substantial number of violent crimes that occur in the home take place during burglaries. 68% of all rapes and robberies and about a third of all the assaults are committed by burglaries while they're in someone else's home. The invasion of privacy and the disruption of the sanctity of a person's home can have serious psychological effects that leave emotional and permanent scars on victims. The initial response on the discovery of a burglary by a victim is usually anger, disgust, fear, and a sense of being violated. Some victims, however, have reported to have suffered acute distress that manifests in panic, severe shock, and uncontrolled crying. The long-term effect can also be quite serious. The effect of this unease and insecurity are common among victims. Venturing out of the home for an evening or a weekend is often accompanied by great anxiety. Returning home, entering a dark room, or being alone in a house at night can generate great distress in burglary victims. Even their thoughts and activities are frequently affected by the violation of personal space and the loss of personal property. Studies show that the most profound psychological effects are experienced by women, who often analogize their victimization as a burglar to a sexual assault. Some express their revulsion of having a stranger touch their possessions. They clean everything around the homes. Others have reported burning their garments or their furniture. And some others were even so distressed they felt the need to sell their house and move from that residence where the burglary took place. In short, household burglaries is potentially a far more serious crime than most legislatures seem to believe when they say, oh, it's just a property crime, and suggest courts simply probate these hoodlums. Recent research findings indicate that the emotional scar left by a burglary is far more detrimental to victims than the financial loss they may have suffered. You see, burglary is not just a property crime, it's a violent crime. You just ask any burglary victim, they'll tell you what they think. They'll tell you it's a violent crime. I'm Ray the DA, and this is Straight Talk.